Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Francesca and today we're going to see 10 different ways in which you can use yoga blocks. Blocks comes in different material. Here I have a cork block and a foam one. Blocks have a variety of different widths and depending on the pose you need assistance with, you can choose the most appropriate height to use. Today I will be using the foam blocks and I will demonstrate 10 ways in which the blocks can assist your practice. Let's start from the easy seated pose. Here you want to avoid rounding your spine. By placing a block underneath you on the mat, it's going to help you keep your spine straight and take your head towards the ceiling. In child's pose, some people might find it challenging to lower the forehead to the mat and at the same time keeping the hips on top of the heels. By placing a block on the mat underneath your forehead, your body does not need to lean as far forward and therefore your hips are much closer to your heels. In half split, instead of rounding our spine, we want to keep our back straight. So by placing the blocks on your mat underneath your hands, you can focus on keeping the alignment of your spine correct instead of trying to reach the floor. In the triangle pose, we want to avoid slumping over the front leg. Instead, we want to keep our back straight and our chest open. You can use a block to shorten the distance between your hand and the mat and therefore keep the alignment in your spine. Similarly to the triangle pose, in half moon, you want to avoid placing too much weight forward and losing your balance, like I'm showing in this video. A way to avoid this is by placing a block in between the mat and your hand, which will help you to keep your balance and your back more straight. This is the correct alignment for the revolved triangle pose. You might find yourself slumping over your leg. By placing a block on the outside of your foot, you will decrease the distance between you and the mat and it will allow you to stay strong in the pose. In pigeon pose, you want to keep your hips squared, your back leg straight and your back strong. You want to avoid falling on a side and compressing the hip. By placing a block underneath your hip, you help support it and you can fully focus on lengthening the hip instead of holding a pose with your muscles. In Garland pose, it's important to have your feet on the floor as it will allow you to have your spine straight. If you can't keep your heels to the floor, it is likely that your spine will be rounding, and this is something that we want to avoid. By placing the blocks underneath your heels, you will give your legs the stability and you will be able to hold a straight spine much easier. In the forward fold pose, we want to keep our back straight and bring our stomach closer to our thigh. You might find yourself running your spine or not able to reach your toes or ankle. By placing a block underneath you, you will give your hips the extra height that will allow you to reach farther much easier. Just make sure to not push yourself too much and hurt yourself. In legs up the wall, you want to keep your spine on the mat and your legs straight towards the sky. You might find this quite challenging and uncomfortable. By placing a block underneath your pelvis, you will give yourself an extra lift, which will make it easier to keep your legs up to the sky. I hope you found this useful and thanks so much for watching. Please make sure to leave me a like and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you soon.